morning. Floyd here. Hey, have you ever wondered what it would be like to date internationally or even marry internationally? I mean, we know of people who've done it and it's been very successful, but how do you start doing something like that? I mean, if you even wanted to, what would your relatives think? What would the neighbors think? Would your dog agree to this? How do you actually go about dating and maybe down the road finding that perfect mate internationally? As I've looked at other websites that deal with international dating, they almost all go too specific too quickly. They deal with the Germans dating the Italians or the Chinese dating the Australians, but they get to the kissing too soon, the hand-holding too soon. They raise the emotional level commitment way too soon. And that can hurt when down the road you wake up one morning and think, what in the world did that person do? Why would they do that? This is not going any further. And I don't want you to have to get that far without understanding why things are happening, why the cultures will determine emotions and responses. So I've developed this course that's based on the fundamental differences of cultures and help you understand the emotional development that you're going to go through as you begin dating internationally. I don't want you to get hurt. I want this to work. So let's slow down, take our time, don't go buy a plane ticket right now, and let's do this. Let's jump in. How does a person meet someone from another culture that they could maybe fall in love with? Well, that's not hard today. I mean, at home, it could be a neighbor down the street. I mean, you're out in the back garden and you're working on the weeds and you look over the fence and there she is. She's beautiful, she's sweet, she's nice, and you fall in love with her language and the way she walks, and she's friendly, and she doesn't speak your language as her mother tongue, but she's fluent in English and you're clearly not fluent in whatever she's speaking, so you start to get to know each other, and then it happens. You fall in love, and then that's it. No, not quite, but we're making progress. You at least looked over the fence. Good. You might be a college student, and you bump into people from other languages and other cultures. That could be the door to this adventure. You may be at work and have colleagues at work that are single or know people that are single from other cultures. Could happen that way. You could be working in a migrant center or a refugee center, and you start helping these people and you realize they are really cool in their language and their culture and their food and their colors, the way they dress, and they're struggling to make it through this new culture. And you can't help but falling in love with one of them. And then they fall in love with you, and it goes from there. Or you could go traveling. Lots of open doors for bumping into people from other cultures and other languages in that context. You might be in college trying to finish up your degree, and you need to have an internship, and they don't send you down the block, they send you around the other side of the planet. That's cool because who knows who you're going to bump into there. You just have to open your eyes and have finished this course so you're prepared for this. What if you took a free summer and volunteered to work overseas in some place that needed free volunteers? Oh, the doors are incredible. There are so many volunteer organizations out there that I think they're going to break the internet. I'm not going to recommend any specific one because there's too many. I don't know you personally, so do your homework. Research. Find the one that fits you. Find the one you can afford to volunteer for. Find the one that you could see yourself falling in love with the language and the people and the culture, and go find that almost perfect mate. Remember, you're not perfect, so you're not going to find a perfect one either. You might go to work one morning and your boss calls you into the office and says, we have an opening in fill in the blank overseas for the next year, and I'd like you to go. Well, you probably ought to take it because nobody else is going to make you that kind of an offer, especially if they're going to pay for it. A number of my students have taken courses in teaching English as a second language and have ended up teaching English in another culture. A couple of them found their mate in that context and married internationally. I know one young man, one of my previous students, who went to China to teach, met a beautiful young lady from South Korea, and they got married and stayed in China. And he's becoming fluent in a number of things. She was fluent in English, and they are both becoming fluent in Chinese. I don't know how he's handling the Korean language along with Chinese language, but it's an adventure, and they are madly in love with each other. I've included a few links at the bottom of this video for teaching overseas. There are a number of organizations out there. Again, research, research, research. Find the one that fits you, who you are, what you're able to do. You could just take a trip. You could just, a bunch of people say, let's just go do it. You have a bunch of friends, you all decide to buy a ticket to Rome or to Zimbabwe, is that a country? Or Australia, or China, or Russia, or Norway, or you just decide to take a trip. And while you're there, you've got your eyes open and you fall in love with your tour guide. You also might consider a study abroad program. Almost every university in the world has a study abroad program. Major universities in every country. Large universities, middle ones, small ones, they have study abroad programs, and you will definitely run into international students, people from other cultures, different languages. The variety and the vast number of options are just incredible. Check out the links down below. I've given you a few of those, but there's a lot more than that. Do your homework. And if none of these fit, if you're kind of a recluse, there are always dating sites internationally. I've included a few of those links as well. Now, please don't get in a hurry. Take this course one step at a time. Learn it well, do your homework, and use this course to actively prepare yourself to handle all the challenges that you're going to face. My wife and I have helped people through these dating issues. I have performed a number of international weddings. Yes, the challenges are there, and I don't want you to be caught off guard. This can be the one adventure of your lifetime you'll look back on and say, I'm really glad I did that. But we want you prepared for those challenges. Let's do this. See you in the next video.